What is up, F and True followers and the members of the YWC? JC Styles here.
Brian Crazy.
And we are the F brand of wrestling and entertainment here on YouTube.com. And we are here with the Elimination Chamber 2012 review.
Yes, Elimination Chamber just went off the air. It was a good pay-per-view in regards to all the athleticism shown. The performers were incredible tonight. But me and JC didn't like some of the finishes. We had some different things in mind going into WrestleMania. Doesn't mean these matches weren't good. Doesn't mean these performers didn't go out and give us their all.
We start off the night with the WWE Championship Elimination Chamber, which is the first time since the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view came into play, and this was the very first time that the WWE Championship opened up the show.
I think this is the first time the WWE Championship ever opened up a pay-per-view.
I
mean, the earliest I can remember the WWE title going on is 8:30, maybe?
Yeah.
That was last year. I think they had one match that went on at 8:30. Or was that the world title at 8:30?
I think it might have been the world title.
It might have been the world title. Might have been. Alright, nonetheless. We saw CM Punk, who is the defending WWE Champion, go against The Miz, R-Truth, Dolph Ziggler, Kofi Kingston, and Chris Jericho. The entry order is as follows. CM Punk and Kofi Kingston started off the match. Dolph Ziggler then entered as number 3. R-Truth entered as number 4. Miz as 5. And Chris Jericho entered as number 6. But we knew Jericho was going to enter at number 6 because he won that match on Monday Night Raw.
Exactly. This was a very good, solid match. A lot of people were skeptical on how this was all going to play out. A lot of people had their own predictions and their own thoughts. A lot of people said Kofi was probably going to be the first eliminated. Kofi was actually, I believe, was eliminated, what was that, the third elimination?
He was the third elimination, you are correct.
And he was in there, he filled the spot very well, and he brought the athleticism. I mean, early in the match, CM Punk went into Irish Whip Kofi into the ropes, and he actually just vertically leaped up over the top rope and landed on his feet on the outside on the chamber floor.
I mean, this guy should be in the Olympics, jumping over hurdles. I mean, the athleticism shown by Kofi Kingston, like JC said, was second to none. It was incredible. The athleticism shown by all of the competitors was incredible. Going into this match, I'll be honest, I really wanted to see Chris Jericho pick up the win to set up a match between Jericho and Punk at WrestleMania, but it looks like I might have gotten my way at least. JC going into this match, we did this great predictions video, guys. Unfortunately, we did it out here. The weather wasn't in our favor. There was a lot of wind, and you just couldn't hear what we said. So we didn't want you guys to hear half the picture, because we want you to hear the whole picture. Hearing only half of a story is no good. You know, sometimes things can get twisted around, and that's not what we want to do for you guys. We want you to give you guys the full picture. But elimination order is as follows. R-Truth was the first eliminated, then Dolph Ziggler, then Kofi Kingston, Chris Jericho. This is after Jericho eliminated Kofi Kingston. CM Punk kicked him in the side of the head and then sent him flying out of the Elimination Chamber structure. This is where Jericho collided with the cameraman in the barricade at ringside, and he was laid out cold for the remainder of this match. And I have a feeling with Jericho laid out, because he never technically was eliminated, this is going to set up Jericho and Punk at WrestleMania 28.
Most likely it will. I mean, like I said, going into this match, I really was hoping to see The Miz pick up the win. I did a WrestleMania fantasy card. Check it out. I'll put the link in the description box below for you guys to see it if you have not seen it already. Because there's a lot of backstage heat between The Miz and Alberto Del Rio. It would have been fitting, and then we would have also got an extra match on the WrestleMania 28 card, because we knew we would see CM Punk, Jericho, and then we would get The Miz, Del Rio. So you're getting 2 matches out of 1, which would have been a great idea. Unfortunately, they went the other way with it, and they decided to keep the title on Punk for Jericho.
Yes. So it looks like Punk and Jericho are going to end up facing off after Jericho was basically ejected from the match. He was never really eliminated, but he was taken out of play. The Miz was then eliminated by CM Punk. CM Punk is your winner and still your WWE Champion. Yes. You know what I'd really like to see at WrestleMania, to be honest? I wouldn't mind seeing Del Rio go against Rey Mysterio. It was his first feud. He took out Mysterio. We haven't seen Mysterio in months, and wouldn't it be great if Mysterio came back and got some retribution? I'm a huge fan of Del Rio's, don't get me wrong, but I'm also a huge fan of Rey's, and I've been following Rey since, early 90s, late 90s, excuse me. So post-match, the bell rings and CM Punk starts celebrating his win. Punk finally leaves the Elimination Chamber, and we still see Jericho laid out at the ringside area. Punk kind of motions at him, kind of flashes with the title, and then just walks off. Then we go into a video package where we're seeing how Santino Marella got his spot in the Elimination Chamber, and we go backstage and we see a Santino training. Very Rocky-esque training.
Yeah, it was very entertaining. He had a couple of spots in this pay-per-view where they were running packages. We'll get to those a little bit later on. Then we move into the Divas Championship match, which, to be honest, really impressed the hell out of me because Tamina pushed Beth to her limits, and we see Beth Phoenix pick up the win after kicking out of the Super Splash. The Superfly Splash. But I would have liked to have seen maybe Tamina kick out of one Glam Slam as well, because, Tamina hit Beth with her finishing maneuver, and Beth kicked out. It would have only been, maybe a little bit of back and forth between finishers for just a little bit. But this match was great. Beth Phoenix picked it up. Like Brian said, we did the prediction video. I predicted that I wanted to see Tamina pick up the title, but I also said that I wouldn't be disappointed if Beth retained, because we could possibly see Karma and Beth Phoenix at WrestleMania 28.
I think that would have been a great spot. Kind of like JC, I didn't mind seeing Beth retain. I really wanted to see the Warrior Princess Tamina Snuka pick up the title here, and I wanted to set up a match between Tamina and maybe Beth at WrestleMania. But Beth and Karma at WrestleMania would be a great contest. Beth, Karma, and Tamina. Beth, Karma, Tamina, and maybe even Natalya. Don't forget about Natalya. Don't put Natalya on the sidelines. One of the most dominant divas we've ever seen in the WWE. And it was a good match. I do agree with JC Styles. I really would have liked to see her kick out of a Glam Slam. It was a little one-sided. Beth Phoenix picked up a pretty quick victory. Tamina definitely did bring it, though. I'm saying it's one-sided when it came to the whole finish, the finish of the match, excuse me. Then we go into an anti-bullying video package. This was actually a very good package, I do have to say. Very good message sending out to all the kids out there. Then we go into another backstage segment with Santino Marella. Then we go backstage with Josh Matthews. He's trying to interview Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho is still being attended to by the trainers, and unfortunately he is not able to give an interview at that point. Then we go back to the ringside area, and Justin Roberts announces the interim general manager of Raw, Mr. John Laurinaitis. John Laurinaitis comes down with his legal advisor, David Otunga.
The segments that they were running throughout the show were pretty good. As we all know, there was only 4 matches. We got a bonus match, which was the United States Championship that we find out later in the night. A lot of the segments, I think, were just to kill a little bit more time between matches or help build up for later matches. But we see Laurinaitis and we see Mark Henry, Christian, Del Rio come out, and they all say that John Laurinaitis should also run SmackDown, and that was basically the current running gag on that he should run both Raw and SmackDown. And they're basically feeding him like a bunch of crock. Like, he knew that it was all BS, and I honestly don't think Teddy Long is doing that bad, such a terrible job that they make them out to be, that they make it out to be. I mean, Teddy Long has been running SmackDown for probably 4, 5, 6, maybe even 7 years, and he's doing a fantastic job with it.
Well, you gotta think, it's all the heels that are complaining because they can't win by any means necessary. Teddy Long has evened up the odds so the faces have just an even chance of winning, as do the heels on SmackDown, and that's what they don't like. But basically, like JC said, all 3 of these gentlemen came out and pledged their support to Mr. John Laurinaitis in becoming not only the permanent general manager of Monday Night Raw, but also the permanent general manager of Friday Night SmackDown. Like JC said, they were basically feeding him whatever he wanted and wanted to hear, and they put down Teddy Long. They said he's incompetent. They said all these different things about him. The segment wrapped up, and then we go into another video package about WrestleMania 28. Then we go into another backstage segment. This is the final segment with Santino Marella, showing a little more of his training for tonight's SmackDown Elimination Chamber match. Then we go backstage with Josh Matthews and The Big Show. The Big Show admits he has a bad history at WrestleMania. Show says he is going to win the World's Heavyweight title tonight, and boy, did he come damn close.
Yes, he did. Let's
skip to the World Heavyweight title match, and then we got 2 more matches after that. We'll get this wrapped up. We'll get this uploaded so you guys can enjoy this video. And if you weren't able to watch the pay-per-view, you can find out what happened. We go into the World Heavyweight title match. Daniel Bryan, who is the defending World Heavyweight champion, is defending his title against The Big Show, Wade Barrett, Cody Rhodes, the Great Khali, who was a replacement for Mark Henry, who ended up vacating his spot in the Elimination Chamber, and Santino Marella, who won a Battle Royal and ended up filling Randy Orton's spot due to Randy Orton's concussion.
Yes. You know, it was a fantastic Elimination Chamber. This one, I think, overshadowed the WWE Championship one earlier in the night, even though that the one earlier in the night had a little bit more star power than the Elimination Chamber for SmackDown.
I don't want to interrupt you, but I honestly think that the guys on SmackDown are just a little bit hungrier at this point.
You know, you had the Big Show, who was dominating the whole entire match. Then Khali gets entered in, and Khali starts dominating, and then all of a sudden, Big Show just hits like this big spear and puts Khali out of the match, and which actually gave a lot of the other guys a little bit more of a chance, because you were thinking that, oh God, 2 giants in the ring, no one's going to have a chance. And it was actually a pretty good match. I enjoyed it. I was at the edge of my seat to come out later on. We saw Santino come in, and he got bounced off the chamber. He got thrown around like everyone thought he would, but my prediction came true that he was one of the last 2 members in the ring. And to me, that was great because he came so damn close to picking up the title.
Well, Santino Marella has come so far from the first time we saw him on WWE television when Vince McMahon picked him out of the crowd to fight Umaga, and he won the Intercontinental Championship. It was incredible. Well, Bobby Lashley did help. But regardless of that, it was an incredible moment in WWE history. Then we saw Santino pair with not only the Glamazon, but Maria. We saw him pair with Vladimir Kozlov. That was an incredible tag team, and I really wish they didn't let Kozlov go. I'll be honest. I think we need more tag teams in the tag team division.
But the question I think that's on everybody's mind is, do you think this match was WWE's way of showing the naysayers that Santino can't hang in the main event and that he can't wrestle, silence those critics?
I think it did, and I think that's one of the things that both of us said in our videos when we discussed Santino filling Randy Orton's spot. We both did separate updates, and you know, the thing about it is, a lot of the skeptics were shut up. And I hate to say it like that, but it's true. There's still going to be some people out there that are going to diss Santino. Oh, he was a joke for so many years. Okay, he was the comic relief. It's a wrestling show. There's brutality. There's also women and children that watch. They're appealing to multiple demographics. And hell, I'm a 26-year-old. Wow, I almost got my age wrong. I'm a 26-year-old guy, and I think Santino Marella is fucking hilarious. Excuse my language.
Yes.
So you know what? And I do agree with JC. I think it was a legitimizer. I think it finally brought Santino's career not full circle yet, but it's revolving now.
He went in there and he hung in there with DB, with Cody Rhodes, with Khali, Big Show.
Oh, I mean, it was
he
incredible.
hung out with all these guys.
He took a lot of punishment and he kept coming back for more. You see a lot of guys just take it and they'll just lay for the rest of the match. But I mean, this guy was one of the last guys in the 2011 Royal Rumble. He was the second to last eliminated, last eliminated. Excuse me,
in the Royal Rumble.
In the Royal Rumble. Incredible spots tonight. We'll run through the entry order. Big Show and Wade Barrett started off the match. Then Cody Rhodes entered at number 3. Santino was number 4, and he hung with it until the end. Great Khali entered at number 5, and he was quickly eliminated, like JC said, by the Big Show. He's about in the match about a minute. This might be a record. Big Show holds the record for shortest World's Heavyweight reign. Khali might hold the record for shortest time in the Elimination Chamber. Big Show hit this huge shoulder block, and you know what I was thinking? The Patriots must have wanted to have Big Show bad when they saw that, you know? And don't get me wrong, I was going for both sides in the Super Bowl. So, and then Daniel Bryan was the last entrant. This is after Big Show actually climbed on top of the pod, ripped out, if you guys aren't familiar with the Elimination Chamber, there's chains arranged in squares that block off the top of the pod. He ripped this out with his bare hands, entered the pod, and just started wailing on Daniel Bryan. It was incredible.
We saw him put Daniel Bryan through the pod.
Twice?
No, once.
I thought he put him through.
He got put once, and then Wade Barrett was going for a superplex, and he put him through the pod in front of the turnbuckle.
You were correct, sir.
So it was just, this match definitely was more entertaining than the WWE Championship chamber match. We saw Santino, get beat down. He came back. He kicked out of Daniel Bryan's. He did a move off the top rope and he kicked out. A headbutt. He went for a headbutt. He kicked out. Then Daniel Bryan went for the headbutt again. We see him roll out of the way.
And tonight I saw a lot of similarities. I know it's a touchy subject to bring up with some wrestling fans, but tell me you did not see a lot of similarities tonight between Daniel Bryan and Benoit.
Yes, I did.
I mean, come on. The LeBell Lock, Crippler Crossface, they're essentially the same maneuver.
Yeah, they're just modified to one another's preference.
Yeah. And then the headbutts, the flying
headbutts.
I mean, it was very Benoit-esque, and you know what? I'm not going to try to downplay the tragedy. Rest in peace the whole Benoit family. But when it comes to the technical wrestling ability, it felt like Benoit was there a little bit tonight, and it was very interesting to see.
We saw Santino put the Cobra on. We saw him hit the Cobra on Daniel Bryan.
I mean, me and JC almost marked out. He hit the Cobra, and it was like, 1, 2.
It was phenomenal. The crowd went crazy. We were pulling for Santino. The crowd wanted to see Santino, and if I want to say, if the whole YWC was in Milwaukee for this chamber match, it'd be two-sided, because 50% of the arena wanted to see Santino, and then the other 50% were cheering for Santino because they didn't want to see DB win. So it was a mark-out moment for everybody, but unfortunately at the end of the day, Daniel Bryan was able to cinch in the LeBell Lock. Santino hung in the
he fought as hard as he could, and unfortunately
he had to tap.
I would have really liked to see, they let Kane pick up the title for one day in 1998. Why not let even the tomorrow night on Raw, even the Tuesday night on SmackDown? I mean, come on, Christian had a 2-day run.
Yeah, exactly.
Why couldn't Santino? But unfortunately, Daniel Bryan's an incredible wrestler, so I shouldn't say unfortunately he's still champion.
I wasn't disappointed, but I wanted to see, going into WrestleMania, I wanted to see a different type of matchup with Daniel Bryan. I wanted to see Daniel Bryan going in and fighting for the championship against Sheamus, Wade Barrett, and Randy Orton. Now, Sheamus came out post-match and hit his new finisher, which is called the Air Raid Siren, which is what they call it in the WWE video games. So that's what I'm calling it. And we hear the announcers, well, don't forget, Sheamus has a chance at facing CM Punk for the WWE Championship, but I think with this gesture, I think he has made up his mind. Yeah,
so they're pretty much cementing the fact that Sheamus is going to go after Daniel Bryan. I honestly would have thought that Sheamus and Wade Barrett would have made a little bit better of a match. Yes. Not that I don't think Daniel Bryan and Sheamus can do a good job. It's just different dynamics. Yeah. And that's just, that's the great thing about being wrestling fans. We can all just throw out ideas and predictions and feed off each other. And that's what makes this community so great. And the biggest thing before we finish up the last two matches on this card is, we've had some opinions about this. But at the end of the day, like we said when we started this video, it's about the athleticism. It's about what these performers do. They go out and they put their necks on.
Santino brought it.
Santino brought it. Chris Jericho, we don't know if his injury is a work or it's legitimate. But if it is legitimate, the best out to him. He went out there, he gave us his all.
Exactly.
And you know what? At the end of the day, these guys could end up paralyzed. So have some respect for these athletes. And the next time you're a little harsh on a wrestler, think about what we just said, please.
Think about Jesse Sorensen, who's
22 years old.
22 years old and came within an inch of being paralyzed.
For the rest of his life.
Exactly.
He broke his top vertebrae in his neck. A very serious situation, and the best out to Jesse Sorensen as well. Then we go into the United States Championship match. This is a bonus match, and I'm really surprised that the U.S. title went on after both chamber matches, but nonetheless, it did. Jack Swagger defended his United States Championship against Justin Gabriel. There's been some heat between these two competitors for the last few weeks, and excuse me, guys. They ended up arguing in the backstage segment, and this created the match.
We see, there's not really much to talk about on this match. It was just a bonus. It was also somewhat of a filler to prolong the John Cena Kane ambulance match. It was a great match. I definitely would have liked to have seen Gabriel pick up the championship, but it was not the case. We see Jack Swagger successfully retain.
That is correct. Then we go into the main event, the final match of the night, the cream of the crop, what everybody has been waiting for, the ambulance match. We will see John Cena go against the Big Red Machine, Kane. both these superstars make their way to the ring, and they begin brawling immediately, going back and forth. We see just sheer brutality from both superstars. We actually see a great spot during this match where the announce table is taken out.
Yes,
and
we actually see John Cena set up the stairs and was going to do the attitude adjustment through the table, and basically he had Kane on his shoulders and deadlifted Kane and walked up 4 steps. Then Kane kind of like squirmed his way out, choke slammed John Cena through the table. We see Kane go and to grab the stretcher, bring it to the ringside area, load John Cena up. We see John Cena getting loaded into the ambulance. Then we see John Cena kick out kick the ambulance door out. We see him come out, and that's when the match just went all towards Cena's favor. We even see an AA off the top of the ambulance.
Cena climbs on top of the ambulance. He baits Kane to climb up on top. Once Cena's up on top, he picks up Kane for the AA. 1, 2, 3. He slams him off the top of the ambulance through looked like a staged area at ringside that was meant to break to take this fall. But come on, these are human bodies. What do you really expect them to go through? Come on, guys. I mean, they're going out there and
it was probably
risking themselves for our entertainment.
It was probably very thin particle board, which was easy breakable that you could just go like and it would break. And then, obviously it was a very well cushioned out area, because at the end of the day, I mean, it's not the Attitude Era. They're not going to go and throw their wrestlers off of an unprotected staged area. They're not going to do that anymore.
Well, we kind of said Zack Ryder tumbled last week.
Well, yeah, but I mean, but also the stage wasn't as tall as it was back in the day either.
Oh, no. You know what one of the greatest spots during the Attitude Era is, speaking of things going off stages?
The dumpster?
You read my mind.
The dumpster when
the New Age Outlaws.
Yes.
Because remember DX? This is before the New Age Outlaws joined DX, and DX went to them. They were like, "Hey, you guys got to become more edgy." And then they came out and threw Chainsaw Charlie and
Cactus
Jack
off the stage in a dumpster, which was funny.
Oh, that was great, guys. But we really hope that you enjoyed this video. Couple quick plugs. We're not going to give you too many tonight. We're going to wrap this up.
At the end of the match, John Cena picked up the win. Then got back in the ring, pointed towards WrestleMania. And says it's WrestleMania time. Now he's focused on WrestleMania. They showed a couple of great packages for The Rock. They also show The Rock's new DVD, documentary that's coming out. It's going to be a 3-disc set. I'm definitely picking that up along with the Stone Cold DVD because I still haven't gotten that. And
Stone Cold DVD was a great watch. Check it out if you have not. I told JC all about it, and I know he wants to get it bad. Couple quick closing thoughts, and then we'll throw out the plugs and close this video up. The only thing that I would have liked to see different was a couple of the finishes, and I think they had a couple missed spots. I know it would have been a lot to bring The Rock in just for a couple minutes, but wouldn't it have sealed the deal at WrestleMania if The Rock came out right after John Cena defeated Kane and just not even said anything? Just came out to the top of the ramp and just stared him down.
Yeah. Well, there really wasn't a ramp.
But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Just stared him down. Then, similar situation. After the Divas Championship match, Karma should have came out and stared her down. And then, if Khali was only planned on being in the match for a minute, they should have had either Christian or Mark Henry come out, take out Khali, and fill a spot in the pot. Very reminiscent to what we saw in Edge and Kofi Kingston back in 2009.
Yes.
But those are just some random thoughts that were floating around in my head during the pay-per-view. For the quick plugs, Most Extreme Wrestling, the only married couple here on YouTube. Please check them out. They produce great content. They recently got into a little war with Dolph Ziggler, so definitely check that out. We Are Pro Wrestling. He is a great content producer here on YouTube. Please check out all the channels that make up the F and brand of wrestling and entertainment here on YouTube.com. This channel, F and True Wrestling, that you're currently watching this video on. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. F and True Entertainment, the F and True Click, and Fight Nation Wrestling, my new channel for exclusive content. Please also check out FightNationWrestling.com, where we provide text results, news, reviews, information, so on and so forth.
Also, check out Champagne Shane and XBA 325.
Hey.
And, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you back tomorrow night with Monday Night Raw.
We'll catch you then. Thanks for checking this out.